2023 Suzuki S-Cross Review, Australian First Drive. The Suzuki S-Cross has lived like a middle child between the attention-seeking Vitara and Swift, which always commanded more attention. Now the 2023 Suzuki S-Cross prepares to step into the limelight. Suzuki has revamped the S-Cross. Although it's largely the same car under the skin, the 2023 Suzuki S-Cross gets a fresh interior and new, more expressive mini SUV styling. Beneath the surface you'll find the same 1.4-liter turbocharged engine as before, only now it hits the pavement through Suzuki's all-grip all-wheel drive system. Step inside and you'll find even more new features with a new 9.0-inch infotainment screen and 360-degree camera, the latter a first for Suzuki Australia. As with so many new cars, price has been revised upwards, though the mechanical changes at least offset part of the increase. But is it enough to keep the S-Cross competitive in a packed small SUV class? How much does the Suzuki S-Cross cost in Australia? The 2023 Suzuki S-Cross range comprises two models, officially called the S-Cross All-Grip and S-Cross Premium. Pricing for the entry-level S-Cross starts from $40,490 rising to $44,490 for the S-Cross Premium, both before on-road costs. Both variants are powered by a 1.4-liter turbo petrol engine, shared with the Suzuki Vitara and Swift Sport, making 103 kilowatts and 220 Newton-meters. A 6-speed automatic is standard, as is switchable all-wheel drive with auto, sport, snow and lock settings, more on those further down. The base S-Cross ships with cloth seat trim, 17-inch alloy wheels, adaptive cruise control with speed limiter, keyless entry and start, automatic LED headlights, rear privacy tint, dual-zone climate control, 7.0-inch infotainment and more. Stepping up to the premium adds a panoramic sunroof, leather and cloth seat trim, a 9.0-inch infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay, polished alloy wheels, and a 360-degree camera. While tech like the 360-degree camera and upsized, and definitely improved, infotainment are good, the S-Cross now sits some $7,000 above an all-wheel drive Vitara with the same turbo engine, and in top spec is $12,500 more expensive than the outgoing, albeit two-wheel drive, S-Cross Prestige. Into the shark pit, the S-Cross now goes toe-to-toe on price with all-wheel drive rivals including the Mazda CX-30 G25 Estina, $44,690, Kia Seltos GT Line, $42,700, Hyundai Kona N-Line Premium, $42,700, and Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross Exceed, $41,990 all before on-road costs. How much space does the Suzuki S-Cross have inside? If you're familiar with the old S-Cross, or any number of other Suzuki models, you'll easily spot the family resemblance inside the new S-Cross. The dash design is largely carried over. However, the panel that faces the passenger has a new stitched crash pad with a soft touch insert, and the center stack has been completely reconfigured to accommodate the larger infotainment screen. The air vents have been moved down, and the screen sits higher and is easier to read. A new face for the instrument dials and a new color display between the analog tacho and speedo have also been added, and seat trims have been revised. The cloth trim in the S-Cross is nice enough, but the leather and fabric in the S-Cross Premium is a little more contemporary than the old S-Cross's mix of real and faux leather. There is still plenty of hard plastics on the top of the dash and tops of the doors, but places you're likely to rest your elbow are padded. Even with these solid plastic finishes, the cars we drove at launch felt well screwed together with no flimsy or loose parts and no rattles. The driver and front passenger get decent space. The seating position is upright, affording good outward visibility, but the seat height isn't so low that you need to drop into it. Slim front pillars are great for visibility too. Dual-zone climate control is standard, with an easy-to-use push-button panel and knobs for temperature control. The center console houses two cup holders and a narrow-lidded bin, plus there's a small space for keys or wallets just ahead of the gear selector. The rear seats aren't as spacious as the fronts. If front occupants concede some space, legroom is decent, but headroom is slim for taller occupants. Think of the second row as ideal for kids and just-in-case transport for adults. There are no air vents or USB power for rear occupants either. Boot space remains the same as before with a generous 430L of space. A frontrunner in the small SUV class. With the rear seats folded, there's up to 1230L available. A dual-position boot floor that can also be propped at an angle adds a touch of versatility too. Seats 5. Boot volume 430L seats up. 1230L seats folded. Length 4,305 mm. Width 1,785 mm. Height 1,585 mm. Wheelbase 2,600 mm. 2023 DS7 E-Tense 4X 4360. DS7 CROSS-BACK E-Tense 4x4, setting the standard for refinement in advanced technology. Its rechargeable petrol-electric hybrid powertrain provided by DS paves the way for a new generation of technology. With its 3 engines, a turbocharged petrol engine and 2 electric motors resulting in combined power of 300 horsepower, the DS7 CROSS-BACK E-Tense 4x4 puts the French automotive industry ahead of the curve when it comes to technology and refinement. The DS7 CROSS-BACK E-Tense 4x4 provides 300 horsepower and 4-wheel drive with up to 58 km of range when in 100% electric mode, 30 grams of CO2 emitted per kilometer traveled and an average petrol consumption of 1.3 L per 100 kilometers, as per the new approved WLTP cycle. Developed in France, this technology has been brought to bear in the most refined SUV in the segment. The 200 horsepower PureTech engine is supported by 2 electric motors that provide 110 horsepower at the front and 112 horsepower at the rear, respectively. They're linked to a 8-speed automatic gearbox providing a combined power of 300 horsepower and 520 Nm of torque distributed by a 4-wheel drive transmission. You can go from 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.9 seconds, and 1,000 meters in 25.9 seconds from a standing start. The driver can choose different driving modes to make the most of the vehicle's torque or to drive in zero-emission mode, which allows you to travel up to 58 kilometers, WLTP, fully electric, thanks to the 13.2 kWh battery. The DS7 CROSS-BACK E-Tense 4x4 can get to 135 km per hour in this mode, which is 100% electric. Hybrid, Sport, and 4-wheel drive modes are also on offer. As it's a rechargeable hybrid model, the DS7 CROSS-BACK E-Tense 4x4 can charge its battery from 0 to 100% at a dedicated 32A wall outlet in 2 hours. The battery can also be charged as you drive thanks to an advanced energy regeneration system modeled on the one used during DS's title-winning seasons in Formula E with its engines and a perfectly positioned battery. The DS7 CROSS-BACK E-Tense 4x4 provides exactly the same amount of interior space than the other models in the range. The charismatic style and refinement that DS is known for is exploited to the full with the unique choice of material such as Alcantara, grained or Nappa leather and beautiful signature touches such as point pearl stitching and Klaus de Paris guilloche patterns. The DS7 CROSS-BACK E-Tense 4x4 is available with a new crystal pearl finish, and an interior inspired by the DS Rivoli in pebble gray. However, the technology on offer isn't just limited to propulsion systems. The DS7 CROSS-BACK E-Tense 4x4 provides DS Connected Pilot, which is a Level 2 autonomous driving system, DS Active Scan suspension, an electrically controlled vibration damper, DS Park Pilot to allow you to park without needing to touch the steering wheel, available from the second half of 2020, and DS Safety, which brings together all the safety elements required for driving in today's world. Approved model in the WLTP cycle, DS7 CROSS-BACK E-Tense 4x4, 300 horsepower, 4-wheel drive, 19 inches wheels, T&N. CO2 emissions, 30 grams per kilometer. Fuel consumption, 1.3 liters 100 kilometers. Of range when 100% electric, 58 kilometers. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, 5.9 seconds. 1,000 meters, DA, 25.9 seconds.